kind of education do you need to run your marketing business?
Excellent question. And it would be a really unconventional answer that I give you is because I didn't get my education from America. So I grew up, I was born and raised in Pakistan and in a city called Karachi. You might have heard of that. And in the days that I was there looking for an education around graphic design, it was an unconventional choice even then. And there were no degree programs to support that education. So what I ended up doing was I got my Bachelor's of Arts in English Literature, and I did a 4-year diploma in graphic design. That's where it started. So the journey here in America would be very different than what I did back there. And in those days, there was no computer use. So my entire graphic design education was without computers in the 1990s. And I did not touch a computer until I was 23 years of age and I had moved to America. And when that happened, I was lacking in my computer education regarding design. So I went back to community college. I took some software courses in Adobe Photoshop, Quark Express, Adobe Illustrator, just the softwares to get that knowledge. And then I jumped into my career.
As an author, what are some rewarding moments that you've had?
Interesting. Any author would tell you that. The first time your book gets published, big smiles, right? It's 98% rejection rate in this industry, right? So if you get published, it's pretty amazing, right? And it never gets old, Every time you see a fresh batch of books, arrive, it always gives you that rush. Having said that, if you've done so many of them, it tends to just, what is the way to put it? If I'm doing collaborative writing with somebody, I'd rather they get the limelight. You know what I'm saying? I've had my fair share of it. I feel like if it's a collaborative activity, then they should get the lion's share of the spotlight, which, everybody wants to experience that rush. That's the rewarding part of it. But the rewarding part of this is this thing too, where sometimes you get invited to speak to students, right? And to hear their take on what they got out of something. Like I was speaking to this group of high school students, probably in Arkansas somewhere. And they were talking about what they got out of reading Saffron Dreams. And it was eye-opening because some of them didn't have the perspective of an immigrant. Some of them didn't have the proper understanding of the Muslims, how they lived, how they functioned. It's like, it's not, we're all one people, right? But reading about it did give them some interesting perspectives. And it's, when you hear what people got out of it, sometimes it's very humbling because you have no idea. Once, again, as I said, it leaves your hand, you have no idea where it's going to go. But it's humbling to know that it's made an impact in somebody's life. So that's pretty rewarding.
As an author, where do you see your career, like as an author, evolutionizing in the next 10 years due to AI and stuff?
So creative writing is not going to be replaced, right? I cannot picture a time where creative writing is going to be replaced. So I don't think of the evolution of AI affecting that part of what I do. But again, when I think of writing in my life, I never think of it as a career, right? So I don't think of it in terms of what the future holds for it. I do it because I feel passionate about a subject, I want to write about it, and I do, and then I'm done, right? And so a person who is wanting to make this into a career, that this is all they do, like those people who would write like these detective novels or these romantic novels every few months. For them, this is a valid question. For me, I do not think about that way.